Hello everyone. Today is going to be about the drive-in test during COVID-19 and how COVID-19 has changed the drive-in test and how it's going to affect you as a candidate as you go down for your drive-in test. So driving test quite a lot. It's going to be in three parts. That's the first part, the changes, and there's quite a few. The second part is going to be how you can keep up with all the kind of new announcements and how you can be right on top of that. Very, very simple process for that one. And third and final part is how you can absolutely dominate your driving examiner. It's a very simple, non-aggressive method that one of my students used to great effect, and that's the third part, how you can absolutely dominate your driving examiner. So let's get into it. Start now.
So the first thing you need to do is go to this page here, and this is the government publications, and you can see at the top here there's a link. You will see this link in the description box on the video, so you should be able to get to this quite easily. But it's gov.uk, and this is where we first start to find out about the changes, the first part of our video today, the changes that have been brought about by COVID-19 to the driving test. And this is a letter from the DVSA Chief Executive. DVSA is a Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency, and they're the people that conduct the tests. And this is just a letter to instructors, really. And if we follow this down, we'll get to a point here where it says working with you and your associations. That's basically means that the DVSA, the government body, have got together with the driving instructor associations, and they've come up with a plan of how to conduct the driving tests through COVID-19 or during that time. And in order to get to what their conclusions were, is we have to find this website here, which is www.nasp.co.uk, and if we look for that, then we will find this website here. Just Google NASP and you'll find this here. I've not left a link for this because it's not secure. It's not a secure link, and it says at the top they're not secure. So you will have to go into that at your will. But here it says Corona advice, and as we scan down, we can see that this has been updated on the 20th of the 5th, 2020. So that's just 4 days ago, recently. And as we scan down further, we can see it says DVSA Safe Operating Protocols. So if we click on that link there, we will end up here. And here is where the NASP, the driving standards, the DVSA standard operating procedures for critical workers during critical worker tests during COVID-19. Now the thing here is this is talking about critical workers, and at this present time only critical workers can get tests, but these changes will, I think, and it's my opinion and the opinion of many other people, that these changes will just continue when the lockdown is lifted and that everybody can get driving tests again. And the first part of these are really talking about the driving examiners and what they need to do before they meet you and their kind of working conditions. But as we get further down here, we can see where things have changed in terms of your driving test and how it affects you. And so, for instance, we can see here that it says examiners must wear suitable clothing that fully covers their arms and legs, which they probably would do anyway, so that's not really a thing. But just right underneath it, it says the test will take place at a DVSA location that has hand washing facilities for both examiner and candidate. When you're on your test, you're a candidate, you're a driving candidate. So this is important because not all the driving test centres have hand washing and toilet facilities. So if your local one doesn't have that, you won't be able to get a test there. You will have to go to the next one along. So that's the first change. That's the first thing that may or may not affect you on your driving test. So it has to have a hand washing facilities. When you come to book your test, you'll probably find out that. The next one, the next change, and there are quite a few of these changes. They're all listed out again in the description, so you'll be able to see what they are. It says the examiners should wash their hands before leaving the office and entering the public waiting area. So that basically means that they're telling the examiners now they must wash their hands before coming out to greet you and to call your name, and so your test can start. Okay, and they have to wash their hands for 20 seconds, just like everybody else, I suppose. But that's it. That's their first part of their kind of making sure that they're keeping, the social distancing, coronavirus advice up. The next bit talks about gloves, and it says the examiners or gloves should be worn as soon as the hands have been washed and for the duration of the test, and antibacterial wipes will also be available to the examiner. So he will have gloves on basically, so be aware of that when he comes out to greet you. He'll be wearing his gloves and his hands will have been washed, and also he'll have some antibacterial wipes that he can wipe down a car door if he thinks he needs to, or car door handle, or whatever he thinks he needs to do in order to keep himself safe and to keep you safe as well. Okay. It says about gloves, but it doesn't say about masks, face masks. And there's nowhere that I could find anywhere in here that says the examiners must wear a face mask. Although you will see some of them wear them, it's not compulsory. And I think that follows with government guidelines at the moment, doesn't it, as well, where they're saying, wear one if you feel you need to, but you don't have to. But they will be wearing gloves. The next one is that examiners should avoid touching their face, which is fairly obvious. But this next one down here, will affect you in your driving test as well. And it says the examiner should ask the candidate to wash their hands before the sign-up process at the start of the test. Now, the sign-up process is where you will sign the insurance declaration. It's actually insurance declaration and a declaration that you've been in the country for long enough to take a driving test as well. Okay, so you'll need to sign that, and the examiner will ask you to wash your hands before that happens. I think that's probably because you might be touching his stylus thing that he uses on his tablet, or you might come into contact with his tablet as well, so he wants to make sure your hands are clean, and we can see why that is, can't we? We understand those things now. So that's odd, isn't it? And the next one then is the examiner will not shake the candidate's hand. Now this seems like a trivial thing. You wouldn't really expect the examiner to shake your hands. Doesn't normally happen. It's not a regular thing. Some would do and some don't. The whole point about this one is that it kind of changes the approach that the examiners are going to take towards you and towards your driving test. In the last few years, they've been trying to make the test a bit more relaxed and a bit more friendly, a nicer place to be. But now they're saying with all of this COVID-19 coronavirus and everything we need to do to take care of each other, we have to be more officious, or the examiners are saying they have to be more efficient, more business-like, and so there'll be no shaking hands and no kind of, I don't know about no friendly banter, but you know, less of that and more let's just get on with the job. So that's a small statement, but a big change, I think. The next one says, if the candidate comes to the test with clear symptoms, the test must not go ahead. So that means if you're not very well and you turn up for your test, the examiner is not going to take you anyway. And clear symptoms talks about a cough, if you have a cough or temperature, or I suppose sneezing, anything to do with cold symptoms, cold type symptoms. But if you're generally unwell as well, then don't bother to turn up because you won't be welcome. And the next one confirms that as well. It says if the candidate becomes unwell or starts to cough continuously during the test, then the test must be stopped. And those two kind of relate to each other, don't they? So if you turn up for the test and you're not feeling very well, but you think, well, I can mask it a little bit. I can, you know, if I get in the car, I can get round. But then you start to feel unwell again, then the test will be stopped anyway. So the basic advice there between those two is if you're not very well, don't go for the test. Just, you know, rearrange it if you can. And then this is the final one on this form. There are others that we will look at as well, but on this particular form, this is the final one, and it says the test will be unaccompanied to help with social distancing and reduce potential of spreading the virus. So unaccompanied, what that refers to is that on your driving test, up to this point or up to the point where the lockdown started, you're allowed to take your driving instructor with you, or whoever it is that's taking you driven you down to the driving test centre. Now you're not allowed to do that. They can't sit in the back of the test, and that means they can't kind of observe and give you good feedback about the test, and it means you can't have someone who's kind of on your side, if you like, in the test with you. You have to go on your own, and that's because it's an enclosed area. You will want to have as few people in the car as possible, and we can understand that. Okay, so that's that form, and that tells us quite a lot about how the examiners are going to approach the driving test in a different way. There's a couple of other things that I've been searching for that we know are changes to the test, but I couldn't find them. And that's this one here is one. This, by the way, I should explain. This is the description under the video, okay, in the description box. I've kind of written it out, and it's kind of ready there to be published. But and these are all of this part are all the kind of changes, so they're listed out for you as well, so you can have a look at that after the video if you like. If the candidate displays any kind of, number 11, if the candidate displays any kind of, oh, we've got that one. It's this one here. So, sorry, number 10. If the candidate makes a serious or dangerous driving fault, the examiner will terminate the test immediately. And what that refers to is that normally, or up to now, if you made a serious fault or a dangerous fault, the examiner would mark that down on his tablet, but the test may just continue. You may get all the way around the route, and then at the end of the test he would explain to you that you'd made a serious fault there, and that's why you'd not passed. But now what they're saying is as soon as you've made a serious or dangerous fault, the test will end and you'll work your way back to the test centre. And this is so they can cut down the amount of time that they have people in enclosed spaces. There's another one about here. and it says the driving examiner will have opened his or her window throughout the driving test. So it'll have their window open so that then there's kind of air circulating around, and it makes it more difficult for the virus to settle, and also it'll blow the virus away if there's any around. And it'll ask you also to open your window on there as well, just to increase the airflow. So in terms of that, that changes your test quite significantly, doesn't it? Because, you know, it's the summer now, isn't it? And you know, you might turn up in, you know, summer clothes, and if you're driving round and you've got all the windows open, you might get cold. So bear that in mind as well. So there's the kind of changes that have been affected by the coronavirus, and they're all there listed out for you. Now also in this description you will see various links to various websites. So this one here is a link that will take you directly to here. So what happens there is that this is the form. This is from the DVSA and the people that they're working with to conduct the tests. And what they're saying, what happens here is this gets updated, and again you can see that this has been updated on the 20th, 4 days ago, and it's being updated all the time. So that's one way to keep up to date with the driving test changes. Also in the description you'll see there's a link here as well. Just on this link and it says here, we can also keep up to date with any changes to the driving test by following this link. So if you click on this link here, what happens is it brings you to this website here, which is just another part of the gov.uk website, and there is the link up there. And this is coronavirus driving tests, and it's a guidance. Now as we look down, as we scroll down here, you can see it says a part here where it says stay up to date. So if you click on that, stay up to date, it will take you through to the next page, which is here, which is then sign up for email alerts if this page changes. So it's saying if the guidance changes for the driving test, you can be alerted by that, and you'll stay on top of everything then. And then it's asking you what kind of alerts that you need. And for us, it's car test, isn't it? So car driving tests there. I've clicked that one, and then I'm just going to select, and it takes me through to sign up to get emails. And it says get emails when information changes on gov.uk about car driving tests. And if I click sign up there, it will ask me how often I want to receive the emails. And what I did is I clicked every time something changes. So click that one there. You have three options. You can go for that one, or you can say once a day or once a week. It's up to you if you don't want to fill your inbox up. And then you just continue there. All they're going to ask you for now is your email address, and once you've put that in, you can click continue, and then you will have been signed up for changes, for notification of any changes around the driving test. And there will be a few still more in terms of the coronavirus and how they're going to conduct the tests, so it'd be a good idea to keep up to date with that. So that's the second part of today's video done. So we've looked at the changes for the test, and we've looked at how you can Again, just keep up to date with with any more changes that happen. You won't have to go through all that process again. They'll just send you emails once you've got yourself organised. And the third part of today's video is about, where's it gone? There it is how you can dominate your driving examiner. Okay, so there's two ways you can do this. You can find this out. First of all, you can click this link here, or you can wait till the end of the video and a box will come up, and the box will look like, I've not got it ready for you. Not very good, am I? There you go. The box will look like this. There. And it will say how to dominate your driving examiner. Okay. And this is a simple thing that somebody did, and it absolutely worked. So it's proven. It was someone who was, you know, who was okay at driving but not brilliant. But what she did is she found a way, very simple, non-aggressive, easy way to dominate the driving examiner, and she passed easily. And it says here how to dominate a driving test examiner to a point where you will pass the driving test. Okay, so that's really useful information. So that's a box that's probably come up on the video now. Just click onto that thumbnail and that will take you to that one, and well, you'll find that very, very useful, I think. If you have any comments, please leave them, good or bad. Bad comments help me just as much as good ones, although I really like to get the good ones as well. And if you like the video, just give it a thumbs up. That will help as well. Okay, hopefully you've found all of this useful, and well, I'll see you in the next one.